me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so excited to be here because I don't get that much of a chance to come and visit Srinidhi, when she's at school or do any kind of activity at school because I'm just so busy. So I'm really excited that I got this opportunity, and she was like, after me, you have to come, you have to come. So she really kind of, worked this out. So if you all are excited about this, it's because of her. Okay? So I'll get started with this. I have few presentations, few slides, but this is only just to talk so that I can keep it little structured. But I'm going to talk about what I have learned, my experiences, how we handle the cultural differences and things like that, okay? So I'm guessing we'll go through like about 20 minutes and then we'll leave it open for everybody to ask questions. Okay. All right. Oh, before we get there. So you all have been studying India and you know this is Indian flag, right? Okay, good. Okay, who am I? I'm Kalpana Kadiyala. That's a tongue twister. And I share my experiences on how, people mess up my name, just for fun. Many people, I hardly see people, saying it right. I know it's kind of a tongue twister. I see people saying Kalama, I see people saying Kaplana, I see people saying Kalpana. So the right way is Kalpana. Okay, so the way we stress different syllables is different in each language. So it's Kalpana. And so what Srinidhi does is, she kind of realizes the difficulty that people have with her name. So she kind of changed her name, how she says it is Serenity. But that's not Serenity, it's Srinidhi. So whenever you see her, call her next time, don't go what she says, it's Srinidhi. Okay? A few facts about me. Born and brought up in India. I moved to USA in 1998 to do my master's degree in computer engineering in Florida. My family, I have, of course, husband, Sunil, cute daughter, Srinidhi, and we recently got a cute puppy, Sunny. I'm sure Srinidhi has shown his pictures, to her friends. I'm currently working as a director in a financial company. Prior to that, I worked for 14 years in Intel. Intel is the one that makes all the computers. And then I changed my field and then I moved to a different field so that, I want to do something different. So what I do is, your parents use the software that I, kind of manage to pay their bills. So that's what I do. Okay?
Yes, the right one should go forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little better.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I don't want to talk about history, geography, culture, language too much because that's what you've been learning. I'll touch on few things just so that, it may be a refresher, but some fun facts, right? So when I first moved to USA, this is back in 1998, I never knew, I kind of assumed that everybody outside of India would speak only English. So when I first landed in Paris, they don't speak English. That was like a shock. And then when I came to Miami, they don't speak English. They speak Cuban, Spanish. So it was like it was fun to see that what we think when we are in our own world is not necessarily true. So I learned that not everybody speaks English outside of India. Okay, because in India we used to think everybody outside of India speaks only English. And then a big thing is the terminology differences. And what I mean by that is, what we say in India, is different than what it is called in US or even in other countries. For example, cookie. That's what it is called in USA. Back in India, it's called biscuit. Okay. Soda. That's called cold drink or soft drink. Candy. It's called chocolate. Cricket. It's a game. Here it's an insect. Garbage. That's called trash. Nice is called as cool here. Toilet, back in India. Here it's restroom. Bill, like when we go to restaurants, eat, we say, can you give us the bill? Here when we used to say that, they used to look at it like bill. Then we learned it's check. Okay, so those were some things, that were kind of, fun to figure out, how they were interpreted, and I could only imagine when we were seeing some things, then the other side probably would have been so, what are they saying? So it took a while for us to figure out. Right now, this information is all available, on the internet. Now people can go in and figure out what it is called in different places. But back in 1998, it wasn't the case. There are a few fun things. Yoga, you probably all hear about it. Yoga, martial arts, algebra, you might hate it. Calculus, these are all were originated in India. Pi value is calculated by an Indian first. This is another, interesting thing. Many Indian women, including me, we never say our husband's name. We never say, I said Sunil out of so much difficulty, but we usually, it's out of respect. We don't say our husband's name loud. Okay? India has the largest movie industry. Every Friday, there are about 25 movies that get released throughout India. I'm saying 25 is probably minimum. It could be more than 25. So, a lot of movies. It's the largest movie industry. It's the only country that was producing diamonds until 18th century. Now it's everywhere. Tea. I know you guys don't, drink tea yet, but it's the largest tea producing country in India. So these were some cool facts. There are several, but I picked the one I thought would be interesting. Okay. This works. These are all just touchy.
It's always, I dropped it, and ever since then it hasn't worked perfectly.
I can stand it. Okay, culture. Culture is a very interesting topic, right? Because it really gives a different perspective, how you see a person. You understand a little bit about the culture. Again, it changes the complete, way how you look at things. I'm sure you learned a lot about it. I just jotted down a few things with some pictures to make it a little bit colorful and interesting. This is one of the ancient cultures. This is not the ancient, but one of the ancient cultures in the world. Few things. India is one of the culture where there is a strong family relationship and connection. Even now, so it's been 17 years since we moved. 17 years since I've been living in the US, and Srinidhi is born and brought up here. But we go back to India every summer. We could visit my parents, my cousins, my sisters, and her cousins, so that she keeps touch with the family. So it's that important. And going back to India every year is not a cheap deal. The flight prices are about anywhere between $1,600 to $2,000 per person. And then we spend a lot of money going there, taking gifts, buying stuff. So it's not a cheap fare, but that's a secondary thing. Family is very important. So she speaks the native language that my parents speak. She communicates with them, and we made it a point that she does it so that she can talk to her family members back in India. So it's that important. Yep.
Which way do you fly? Do you guys fly across the Pacific or like?
We can go in any direction. You can go, but from here, it's usually we go through Europe, or we go to like Dubai, the Asian countries, the Middle Eastern countries. Okay. Very hierarchical culture, and what I mean by that is all relationships involve hierarchy. For example, if we have a family, the senior most person of the family gets treated very respectfully. That's a hierarchy. In classroom, it's everywhere. Teacher is the most, hierarchical person. You go to temples or churches, of course, priest is the highest person. So why that is, the culture is very hierarchical, and the way you see it is like you walk into a room, and there are a bunch of people sitting in a room, but the eldest person in the room needs to be greeted first. So if not, then they kind of feel like, disrespect. So that's what it means when we say hierarchy. Giving gifts is pretty common. I'm sure everybody enjoys gifts, but like Prince Nidhi goes back home, Every summer she gets tons of gifts back from her cousins, her aunts, so it's a way of expression of love and affection. So is, anywhere. Children live with their parents forever. Here, I know in US, in many cultures, children after they go to graduate, then they are pretty much on their own. But back home, especially sons, again that's a cultural thing. Sons, after they get married, they live with the parents, joint families. Daughters, they get married, they go and live with their husband's family. So it's a cultural thing. It's fun. I mean, slowly these things are kind of, wearing out in the recent days, but that still happens. It's another thing, probably a very, cultural thing. Girls get married to a person only when everybody in the family agrees that he's the right guy. So it's called arranged marriage. Maybe too early to talk about it. When you enter anybody's house, you're expected to take the shoes off. It's a cultural thing. Festivals. There's probably a festival every month. Like you could say Christmas every month, which is celebrated at such a big scale with lots of dishes, lots of, gifts and getting ready and all of that stuff. There are 4 main religions, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it. This is the traditional dress, what I'm wearing. This is called churidar. This is what most girls and women wear in India. It is kind of wearing out these days. I like to wear it whenever I get a chance. So today I got a chance, I wore it. And then another thing is lots and lots of jewelry, lots. So those are the 2 pictures that kind of show. The one at the top is me wearing a sari, and then one at the bottom, guess who? So it's one of her, an occasion where I think it's equivalent to quinceañera, but this is done in India when she's 11 years. It's not quinceañera, it's just an event where we could bring everybody together. So this happened back in 2013. She wore all traditional dresses. We invited about 500 people, lots of jewelry. I never expected she would do all of it, but going there, being with everybody, she just did it. So, any questions? Anything you guys want to talk about here? Great. Okay.
When you moved to the US, did you have any troubles with the idioms that we have here?
Yes, a lot. I'm like, what does it really mean? And then I was hesitant to ask, at the beginning, but then I learned it's okay to ask. So yep, I did.
Why do you put dots on the
Good question. There is a scientific reason behind it, because there is a nerve that goes from your brain to some part which is vital, and putting a dot kind of, activates that nerve. That's
Is
one.
it like a hole or?
No, it's a. I got something just to see. So this is like a sticker. You just take it, and these are fancy. What I'm wearing is a simple. You just take it and then you just put it here, right? So when you do it, it kind of presses the nerve, and then it activates, and you get like positive energy. So that's a scientific reason, and there are many beliefs. Some people say, everybody has a third eye here, and the third eye represents angerness, and you kind of put this to shut that eye. That's one belief. But I like to believe the scientific reasoning. Sure, you can take a look.
How long is the flight from here to India?
The total journey is minimum 21 hours with a layover in between. Like a 10-hour and then a 4-hour layover and then another 8 hours, or 16 hours, then a couple of hours layover and then 4 hours. So minimum 21 hours is the flight time. Yeah, long flight.
What was your life like as a child?
Back in India, exciting. We didn't have any of the technology. We would be playing on the roads, different kind of games. Most of the games are similar to what you guys play, like hopscotch, things like that. But we were very, very disciplined. Study. When we have to study, we used to study. When we have to play, we used to go out and play, out on the streets. Not the technology play, not games, not the video games.
What do you like to eat?
I like to eat Indian food, but I try everything. I have no, reservations about anything. I eat everything. I cook every day Indian food at home. and then we go out and eat whatever food like,
What's your favorite food?
Indian food.